Yesterday's win was good enough. Well, that's perfect. That is perfect. Well, you know what we can do here for you.
Happy birthday to you.
This one's for you, Jordan.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday.
This is kind of scaring me.
Happy birthday to you.
All right, there's your birthday song. Happy birthday, Jordan. Let's move on into our charts now. Just a little bit creepy. All right, so I got a daily time frame pulled up over here on NQ. So we already swept previous day high. Yesterday's low. All the way down here, right? So yesterday's low is down there. We already swept yesterday's high, which was right here, right at the top of this wick. Okay, what does that mean? Well, it hasn't meant too much recently, but normally when we take out a previous day high, I would expect a continuation to the upside. If we were to take out a previous day low, I'd expect a continuation to the downside, but you saw yesterday we took out previous day low and previous day high. Oops. You got to get back to trading view here. I don't know what I just did right there. All right, we're back. Don't freak out. We're still here. Hey, what's up, Matthew? How you doing? All right, so we came up all the way into this volume gap. We still haven't closed above this volume gap on a daily, right? But yesterday's candle was extremely bullish, and we traded up into this fair value gap above. Right now, we really have to just start breaking down price action on our smaller time frames as well. Like going into a 4-hour, look how we displaced on the 4-hour that volume gap. We made a higher low, and we displaced these highs, right? So right now, everything is still telling me pretty bullish right now. Pretty bullish right now from what I'm seeing. So what I'm looking at now is this 4-hour bullish fair value gap down here, 4-hour busy. Look how we tapped into that, and we're rejecting it already. Right there, we're rejecting that 4-hour busy. Okay, now we want to go look at our buy side liquidity. Well, remember on the 4-hour, we don't have any external buy side until all the way up here, 18,717. Okay, go down to an hourly real quick. Okay, this is where things start to get a little interesting, right? This is where our levels start to battle against each other, because we formed a little bit of a bearish breaker here on the 1-hour. Right, we have this high, low, higher, high, displacement of the low, right? Barely displaced, but we still have this bearish breaker. So this is where our levels are really fighting against each other here. We're bouncing off a 4-hour busy, bouncing off a bearish breaker. So this is where we need to really see which side is going to start winning the battle, right? I always talk about that, which side is going to start winning the battle. We want to make sure we are waiting and we're being patient for our setups here, right? We're not going to be rushing anything here. We're rejecting that 1-hour breaker pretty hard right now. Pretty strong drop. We're rejecting it pretty hard. Another thing to notice today, guys, we don't have any news coming out. We don't really have any news coming out, so we could see a range type of day, right? We could see a seek and destroy type of day, especially when we're between two external levels like a 4-hour and a 1-hour, right? A 4-hour bullish and bounce and a 1-hour breaker. Okay, so let's break it down even more. Let's go all the way down to the 15. Let's look at our Asia high, which is all the way up here, right at 7 p.m., right when we open. Okay, Asia low all the way down here, 8:30 p.m. Look how we came down and we swept Asia low. We come right back. We sweep Asia high. We come right back down. And we sweep that low. So we're already forming seek and destroy. This overnight was seek and destroy already, right? We come down. We're just back and forth, sell side to buy side. So with this type of behavior, I'm almost expecting just more seek and destroy, right? I'm almost expecting us to come right back up here and grab London high next, right? We have London high all the way up here. And we've already swept our London low, which was at looks like at 2 a.m. right here. So same as Asia low. We already swept that, right? Okay, so the only levels I really want you to pay attention to here, really, it's just our London high. That's it. Our London high and this swing low we just formed down here. Right down here. Okay, so these two levels are what I want you to pay attention to. These are our key levels here. This is when we're going to find out if this is truly seek and destroy, or if we're going to start getting some kind of expansion, right, to the downside or to the upside. right now, looking at this price action, it does look to me like seek and destroy. But we also have a 15-minute bearish breaker. We also have that hourly bearish breaker. So we've got a few levels that we are bouncing off of, right? A few resistance levels that we have been rejecting. So we need to see us basically displace those levels if we want to see the long step back in, right? So that's our 15-minute bearish breaker right there. Pretty large bearish breaker. And then we have our 4-hour busy right below. So just a lot of levels which could, like I said before, really cause us to range back and forth today. I would not be surprised if that happened. Remember, Fridays are typically more volatile. I'm always coming into Fridays with a very conservative mindset. Very conservative mindset. If we just look at the 1 minute, we can see how choppy we are since market open, right? Ever since market open, we've just been chopping. And then we create our 15-minute opening range right here. So we just traded below that opening range, which is when you would typically want to see us start to pump, right? Look how we traded below that opening range right there. Typically, you'd want to see us start to pump from here, but we're too choppy right now. Yeah, we're in a 15-minute, a little unicorn right here with this fair value gap, right? So like I said before, the issue with this right now, we're in an hourly bearish breaker and a 15-minute unicorn here, right? So typically I'd want to see us drop from here, but the fact that we've been seek and destroy this morning and the fact that we have this 4-hour busy that we bounce off of pretty aggressively makes me not really trust this 15-minute unicorn as much as I normally would, right? I don't trust it like I normally would. At least not right now, not with this chop. But yes, you are right, Jack. We did just tap into that 15-minute unicorn. Typically, this is something that I would want to take almost every single time. But when I see what we've been doing so far this morning, it doesn't make me too eager to jump into it right now. Okay, we can look at ES over here. Same thing. Guys, we haven't even pushed above the 4-hour order block on ES, right? We pushed way past it yesterday on NQ. We're still bouncing off that 4-hour. So ES could actually be holding us down today. We could see ES holding us down. We did sweep yesterday's high. And then we have yesterday's low all the way down here. But look at the 4-hour real quick. Notice how we have not even displaced it. No displacement on that 4-hour time frame. Right, that's something we really want to pay attention to because we got a lot of SMT down here. Or up here, I should say. A lot of SMT. If we look back at the 4-hour on NQ, look how NQ, I guess it didn't push way above it, but we displaced that 4-hour order block already. Right, so big SMT divergence there between NQ and ES. Let's go down to the 1-hour here. We haven't even formed the 1-hour bearish breaker on ES because we have not displaced these lows yet. No displacement of the lows. Let's look if we formed a 15-minute here. And we haven't even formed a 15-minute on ES yet either because we haven't displaced those lows. Okay, so a lot of SMT up at the highs, right? But right now, all I'm really focused on, guys, is that we are chopping. We are chopping like crazy. And then let's look at how big these candles are on the 1 minute, right? How big is this range here? Just in this choppy little range, it's about 200 ticks. Okay, so not too ideal right now to be jumping into any trades just yet. In my personal opinion, I would really want to wait for price action to stop chopping. Really want to wait for us to stop chopping here. It's not the most ideal conditions right now. All right, so that's my quick analysis right there of what I'm seeing. Expecting a little bit of seek and destroy here. Notice how we've made a higher low 4 times in a row here. We made a higher high, or higher high here. All these higher lows. Right, and just looking at the 15-minute, that's the only reason that I would expect some kind of seek and destroy. Seeing what we've seen so far. But yeah, if you have a ton of conviction in this, that the shorts are going to come in, then that bearish unicorn is your setup, right? We also have that nice 15-minute order block there. So if you don't mind trading the chop and you really have that conviction in the shorts, well, that would be that short setup you'd be looking to take. But right now, I'm not really looking to take that. If we had clean price action, I might be thinking about it. But not right now. It's just not very good. Not very good stuff right now. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're just going to be patient. Just going to be patient, wait for a setup that we want to see. If we don't see the setup we want to see, then we'll stay out of the market. Okay, Fridays are a very conservative day for me in general. This whole week has been very conservative. I know yesterday I was a little more aggressive. I was definitely more aggressive yesterday. But just in general, it's typically pretty conservative on these types of days. Hey, good morning, MB. How you doing? Okay, so we are rejecting that unicorn. Pretty nice rejection off that unicorn so far. I'm sure at least one of you took that entry. Did anybody take that entry off the unicorn? That is a pretty strong rejection. See if this one wants to keep going. Hey. See, I knew at least one person took it. Yeah, you know, and I mean, same here, right? I definitely thought about that entry. Definitely thought about it. And if we just saw some better price action, I definitely would have looked to tap into that. But what I'm not going to do is get an entry while we're chopping like this. That's just, you know, basically you have to time that exactly when the breakout happens, or else you're going to get chopped out. Unless you have a very perfect entry and stop loss. Like, you could have kept a good entry here. Let's say you got an entry off when we came back into that, and you kept a 100 tick stop. You know, you could have stayed in that, and you could have held this one pretty good. Right? That's at least a 1 to 2 risk reward. That's not bad. So if you had a stop loss like that, and you got the entry all the way up here, then that's pretty solid, right? That's solid. But if you kind of tried to force an entry in the chop, you got it really low, you might have gotten chopped out there. You might have gotten stopped. Not really been able to catch that. Because look at the first time we wicked into it. We wicked all the way above. Came all the way up here. So if you got that entry the first time, definitely would have gotten stopped out. The second time would have been a better entry there. So let's just talk about, okay, let's say these shorts do keep coming in, and you are in that entry. What are you targeting? Are you targeting our recent low? And then you're looking at our fib for our standard deviations, right? So if this one really does break out to the downside, well, you'd want to see us take out this low here, and then you'd want to see us come all the way down to our standard deviation levels, right? All the way down to our next lows. And then if we look at like a 1 hour time frame, we can start looking at some external sell side. We don't really have external sell side until all the way down here. That's like our closest, you know, external level of sell side liquidity. So then you have to go down to the internal sell side and look where our internal swing lows are. And that's when you start to see some internal levels, equal lows, swing low, right? Those are those sell side levels. So far that's a good rejection. I still can't really say that I'm really trusting anything right now. I'm not really trusting the shorts. I'm not really trusting the longs right now. I'm pretty much just waiting to see if we're going to get an actual expansion move. If we start to break out, right? Or if we're going to show that we're going to be seek and destroy today. That's what I'm waiting for. So we just got into the new hour. We just got into silver bullet hour. Let's see how our hourly closed there. So our hourly close rejecting that bearish breaker. No displacement, but that's a strong close there on the hourly. Looks like these shorts are really trying to step in here. Looks like they are really trying to step in. Yeah, very large wick on the hourly. So now we're going to be trading right back into that 4 hour bearish or bullish imbalance here. Alright, so this is what you want to be looking at here. Are we going to reject this 4 hour again, or we're going to start pushing right through it? I mean, yeah, if you did get that entry there, you know, that's so far a pretty nice trade. Pretty nice trade. Alright, but either way, that's not an entry I would have really taken. Not really an entry I would have taken personally, just because you guys know I don't like to get entries while we're chopping. Not my style. But you can see we just actually broke structure to the downside there. Now we want to start reading order flow to see, are we respecting these bearish levels? Are we respecting these bearish order blocks, these bearish 1 minute fair value gaps, or are we going to come right back up and push through them? Right, like this. Are we going to completely disrespect that order block? Are we going to disrespect this fair value gap up here after grabbing some sell side? Right now, that's a pretty strong push up on this 1 minute candle so far. Now we have to see, are we going to reject this level? Are we going to close above this fair value gap and inverse it and start looking for the longs? So this is what I'm looking at here. Okay, so we respected the fair value gap. We barely closed above that order block. That's a pretty strong bullish candle there on the 1 minute. Could be creating some equal lows down here. Alright, looks like we want to create some equal lows. We have some equal lows on the 1 minute now, right here. Look at those equal lows. Nice sell side liquidity level there. Do you ever trade before market open? Not really, no. I honestly don't remember the last time I've traded before market open. The only time it'll be before market open is like an overnight trade, you know, like an overnight swing or something. No, yeah, I don't really trade before the market opens unless it's overnight. You know, to me, I know there's some good opportunities before market open. I know there is. But personally, I think the best opportunities in our market are right around market open and going into silver bullet hour. I think those are the best times in the market, personally, that I've found that I like to trade. Okay, look at that. Now we're disrespecting our bearish levels here. We're pushing right through that 1 minute. This is why I said I don't trust this market yet. I don't trust those shorts yet, because we could easily come right back and do this seek and destroy thing. Let's see how this 1 minute's going to close, if it's going to really start to reject, or it's going to keep pushing through. Okay, so we have created those equal lows down there, so I could see price trying to come back and target those eventually. But look at how we inverse that 1 minute bearish for value gap, strong push to the upside. Alright, so I'm just waiting for 1 minute fair value gaps, 1 minute order blocks, waiting for order flow to show me exactly where it wants to go. Pretty strong push here back into that breaker on the 15 and on the hourly. Alright, we might form a bullish breaker here with a low high, lower low. If we displace this high, we'd have a bullish breaker setup. Alright, here we're forming a 1 minute bullish fair value gap. Alright, so this is when I start looking at this 1 minute structure here. Let's check out what the VIX is doing. The VIX is starting to drop here, guys. So it's kind of similar to yesterday, right? We drop at market open, grab sell side, and then we start to pump during silver bullet hour. Alright, and that's when we started looking for those longs yesterday. Alright, so we do have VWAP. We do have VWAP right above. Yes is testing VWAP right now. We are in that bearish unicorn right now. So this would still be like, let's say I wanted to even long this, that would be a very aggressive move right now, because we're right below VWAP and we traded back into this unicorn here. It would still be a pretty aggressive, pretty risky play if I wanted to take the longs, especially since we do have some equal lows down here that I could see us coming back to target. Right now, very, very, very bullish structure, especially if we break structure to the upside. If we close above this high here, that high right there is key. If we close above that, that's a break of structure, that's a bullish breaker being formed. Yeah, if we break this level, we will go to previous high, right? We'll take out that high, and I do think we'll start going to target more highs above, similar to yesterday. Or we'll come right back down like seek and destroy, right? I mean, I think if we're really 15-minute seek and destroy means we would come up, grab this high up here, and then come right back down. So this is where it's really, really key, right? Because we're still inside of that unicorn right now. We're rejecting VWAP. So this is when we got to be careful. We have not broken structure yet until we close a candle above that recent high. So we don't have any kind of shift in market structure. We don't have any kind of break of structure yet back to the upside. This is when I'll be very patient. Very, very patient, guys. Alright, so now we're trading into that 1 minute. Can't say that I trust that 1 minute, but it does look like we want to go break structure to the upside. We did reject that 1 minute pretty hard there. I just don't trust it yet, guys. I still can't trust it with the way price action is looking, but we did see that nice rejection. Where I could really start trusting it is if we actually form that bullish breaker there. Right, so this, like I said earlier, this would be the very aggressive and risky entry there. That 1 minute busy would have been the aggressive and risky entry. The patient and more conservative entry would be waiting for that bullish breaker to form and then waiting for us to tap back into that breaker. Alright, waiting for us to tap back into that breaker, which would be this highest up close candle on that first high to low. Right here. That would be our bullish breaker right there. If we can close above. We want to see ES and NQ pushing above VWAP here. Looking to displace the highs. Looking to displace that bearish unicorn model, that bearish order block there. So let's see if we're going to do it or not. I mean, so far this market hasn't shown us too much. I'd say really the only moves we've seen, I mean, we've seen two possible moves. One was that first short off the unicorn. That first short off the unicorn, and the second would have been our opening range long. But again, even if you tried that opening range long off the second candle, you know, you could have easily gotten stopped out there. So I still don't think it's a very high probability setup there. Right now you can see we're just bouncing right off VWAP again, bouncing right off that unicorn. Starting to chop a little bit. So, guys, I've talked about this before. I talk about this pretty much every Friday. This is pretty much, these Fridays are the days that most people will blow their accounts. These Fridays are the days that most people will have their blow up day after having an amazing week, after being in profit, sticking to discipline all week, and then all of a sudden Friday rolls around. And this is what I used to do. I would, get so eager to trade on a Friday, and then I would get caught in the volatility. And I would think to myself, well, I can't trade for the next 2 days, so I really want to trade right now. So then I would start going in super heavy. I would start risking way too much, taking really dumb trades, and end up blowing my account or blowing multiple accounts. So just remember that these Fridays, you really want to focus on being conservative. Who cares if you can't trade until Sunday or until Monday? If you don't see your setups, you just don't get in. Yep, exactly. Exactly. And there's certain days that we want to focus on that a little bit more. Especially like a Friday like today. Okay, so it looks like we're going to form that bullish breaker here. We're forming that bullish breaker on the 1 minute. So now we want to see, are we going to come back and test our level? Are we going to come back now and trade into this bullish breaker, or into this, this bullish breaker into a 1 minute fair value gap that we can get an entry off of? Yeah, exactly. Those are the best days to trade in my opinion. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Those are our days. We're still going to have good days on Mondays and Fridays. I'm not saying it's going to be bad every single time, but I will say Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are typically the best days in the market for us to keep good risk management and to still catch some very solid trades. Okay, so we formed that breaker. Now I want to see if we're going to come back and test it and start to reject that breaker. See if we can come back. Okay, we formed a little fair value gap here on the 1 minute. And if we run away, we run away. I'm not going to get involved. So if you did take that risky, more aggressive entry, pretty solid play so far. Pretty solid outcome for you. I didn't want to take that too aggressive of an entry today when I wasn't seeing exactly what I wanted to see yet. But now we really see these longs are trying to step in. So now we're just waiting for some pullback into a fair value gap or into a breaker for us to get involved in these longs. And remember, we would be targeting our London high. Ultimately, I'd want to target our London high. This high up here and then London high. That's what I would be looking to target. That breakout. See, we're not coming back for us, and it is what it is. I didn't want to get the aggressive entry, so I haven't seen another entry since that I would take. I need to see us come back for an entry that I actually want to take. So we can see we have a breaker on the 2 minute time frame here. On the 3 minute, this would be that breaker up here. You got an entry at 470. Nice. Okay, so you took the aggressive entry and you got out. There you go. Perfect, right? That's why I still called it out for you guys. I said this is aggressive. This is riskier, but it could still be a good play. And look how it's played out since that fair value gap I talked about right here. This is that fair value gap I called out. Right there. Green Friday is a good Friday. Amen to that. So we're not really coming back for us right now. And it is what it is. If we don't come back, then we don't get involved. We're just looking for those 1 minute fair value gaps now. Silver bullet 1 minute fair value gaps. So let's see if we come back and test this 1 minute here. Give us an entry opportunity. Baby, come back. Come back, come back. Okay, there's that 1 minute fair value gap. Let's see if we're going to start to bounce from it here. If we start to reject, that's when I'm looking for an entry. Right there. All right, I'm looking for just one con here. And we're not rejecting as hard as I wanted it to. Definitely took too high of an entry there, but let's see. I'll just keep a very wide stop here. Down below this fair value gap. About 100 tick stop down at 18.52375. Just one con here. Just one con, trying it out. And if we don't reject this level, we don't reject it. All right, but we're targeting all the way up to here. So it's still a 1 to 2 here. Still a 1 to 2. Silver bullet. And honestly, I'll just keep one con in right now until I can, have another level that I could really enter into another position. Okay, so far that's a good rejection off that fair value gap. All right, so with a 100 tick stop, I'm looking to target a 1 to 2, which is 200 ticks right at that high. All right, so I'm still keeping risk management here. Still keeping it tight. If we're going to reject this level and we're not going to respect our silver bullet longs, then we'll just wait for some more pullback and wait for a new entry lower. All right, right now we're not really respecting our silver bullet longs. We're coming all the way down pretty aggressively. This is why I only went in one position here, guys. That's why I went in quarter a lot here, right? That's why I went in quarter a lot. Because even though I just took that loss there, I still have a lot of room to play with here. A lot of room to play. Okay, so we traded all the way down. We disrespected that 1 minute fair value gap. That's not what we want to see during silver bullet. During silver bullet, you want to see us. I'm looking for those 1 minute fair value gap entries, right? And right when we start to reject that, that's when I'm getting my entry. So that's an entry I'm looking to take, right? I still like that entry. Now that it didn't play out, we're seeing us really start to manipulate back down. Well, now I'm seeing if we're going to start to get reaction off of a lower fair value gap or maybe even off our breaker down here. But look how our 15-minute close, completely displacing that breaker, that unicorn. Displacing that order block there. Okay, so now I want to see a rejection off of this fair value gap down here, or even maybe off this breaker, off of VWAP here. All right, this is where I would want to start looking for another entry right around this level. I just need to be careful of 1 minute seek and destroy with this aggressive pullback, but I still want to see if these longs are going to step back in here. Can these longs step back in? Okay, looks like they want to start coming back in. We'll see if I don't want us to respect this bearish fair value gap here. Right, we don't want to start respecting bearish order flow, or else we're going to see these shorts step in. We want to see us disrespecting bearish order flow, keeping our bullish order flow. See, that's not the kind of reaction I want to see right now. A lot of pullback off the hourly unicorn there. Still expect these longs to try and step back in. I still want to see these longs step back in here. Just don't like what I was seeing right here. Don't like that we respected that bearish fair value gap on the 1 minute. So I'll be patient here. I'll be patient for the next setup. Alright, but like I said before, silver bullet longs, you're looking for that first fair value gap on the 1 minute, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5. Right, on a strong breakout move like that, I'm just waiting for a retracement move to the first fair value gap to get an entry. It doesn't mean I'm going to go heavy on it, but I'm still going to test that trade out pretty much every single time. Okay, we trade into that 2 minute fair value gap there, 2 minute bullish order block, 1 minute fair value gap, 1 minute bullish order block. Now we're just kind of starting to stall a little bit. But I want to see these longs start stepping back in. Just need to get a better entry. I don't want to get in while we're chopping like this, especially when we're really struggling to break through. See, VWAP is still holding this up right now. Still holding this up. See what the VIX is doing. VIX is still looking very bearish right now. Very bearish. I'm still expecting these longs. But we just got to wait for this chop. All right, so the more aggressive, more risky entry would be from right here. We'd be getting in the longs right now. Right, because the reason it's aggressive, the reason it's risky is because we're chopping so much. We're respecting our bearish fair value gap. Right, we had such a strong move down that would be riskier. And because you can't really dial in the entry perfectly right now. I do want to see these longs continue to step in here. Yeah, that's the hard thing about getting an entry here is getting a lower entry, because I wouldn't want to get too low of an entry down here with how quick we're moving down. This is what I want to start seeing here, right? These longs start to push back up. All right, just like that. This is what I was talking about right here. All right, you want to see if they're going to keep pushing. We're still respecting that bearish fair value gap. That's not what we want to see. We want to see us inverse that bearish fair value gap there. There you go, Matthew. Yeah, secure that profit, walk away. That's what it's all about. You're content with that profit, you just walk away. Thanks, man. You too. See you on Monday. Okay, so still a lot of chop right here. Still very choppy. We really want to see for these longs, we would really want to see us just inverse that 1 minute fair value gap. Right now, we're not doing that. Right now, we're just very volatile, back and forth. Back and forth. Don't like what the 5 minutes doing. Don't like what the 15 minutes doing. All right, let's see if we want to trade into that breaker and start to reject it. Yeah, not a bad idea. D shot this, right? Kind of one of those trades you'd probably want to keep your stop at break even for with this chop, with this volatility. Hey, what's up, Slick? I tested out one silver bullet long, got stopped out of it with just one con in. That's the only trade we've taken so far. Hey, well, any of you FFN traders, if you need to reset an account, thank Fabio and Radical Whooper for that. Yeah, the one thing that would that would make me want to short this would be these equal lows down here, and that hourly bearish unicorn. Right, but yeah, smaller time frame, everything is still showing bullish for now, except for us respecting that 1 minute bearish fair value gap there. Okay, so we traded back into that level there. Let's see if we start to bounce from here. So don't really trust this market right now. Just gonna be patient, guys. Just gonna be patient. Wait for that setup here. Patience, patience, patience. Patience pays. Alright, and that's why you guys never really see me worry about taking a loss, right? Because at the end of the day, I know every time I come to the market, there's a possibility I take a loss. As long as I keep my risk management right, I still have a lot of potential and opportunity to make that loss right back and get back right into the green. As long as I'm being patient and waiting for those setups. So 15 minute came down, or 5 minute came down pretty hard. 15 minute came down pretty hard, but now we're starting to reject that level a little bit. We're still bouncing off the equilibrium there. We're respecting the equilibrium of that 1 minute fair value gap. We didn't tap into this breaker. We got very close to tapping into it there. The VIX is really dropping aggressively right now. It's still really dropping. So when I see the VIX dropping, I still want to see these long step in. I'm just still not trusting this price action here with all this chop. Too much chop. See if we want to test this breaker. Yeah, this right here, this is where I would not be looking to get an entry. This is where I would really be waiting. Where I am really waiting. Okay, now we're testing the bullish breaker. I don't like how aggressive we just moved down on that candle, but I do like that we're testing the breaker. I do like that we rejected the breaker. Okay, now we're really starting to reject that breaker here. So this is when we want to see those long step back in. Got some SMT here. Looks like we got a little bit of SMT divergence. Still don't trust it completely. And you guys notice how even if I have a 100 tick stop, I'm targeting 200 plus ticks. All right, if I'm going to have a 100 tick stop, that means my reward needs to be pretty much at least 200 ticks. All right, I need to keep good risk to reward. I'm not going to have a 100 tick stop if I'm targeting 50 or even 100 ticks, right? I need to be targeting more than that. Because that risk to reward doesn't make sense. If you're going to have that big of a stop, it doesn't make any sense to just be targeting 50 or 100 ticks, unless your win rate is very high. A day like this, your win rate might not be as high as it normally is. So just one trade attempted so far. We're still very choppy right now. Very, very choppy. Really rejected that 1 hour bearish unicorn there. So let's see if we come down and displace the breaker. If we come down and displace the breaker, then we're looking short down to those equal lows. All right, just that seek and destroy idea. So anywhere in here so far has been pretty low probability. Looks like we're going to displace the breaker. Possibly have a short entry down to those equal lows. So we are really looking at some 1 minute seek and destroy if we do come down and displace the break, come down to those equal lows. Before, what I was looking at was 15-minute seek and destroy profile that we saw. Right now we're not going all the way up there. And looks like we're going to close below here. Alright, so we displaced that 1 minute bullish breaker. Now I'd be looking to target those equal lows down below after seeing that happen. Right, which from this fair value gap, if we can trade back into it, and this 1 minute bearish order block would still be about 300 ticks of reward down there. Just want to see if we're going to trade into that fair value gap or trade into something that we can take a good entry off of. It looks like these shorts really want to step in here though. Can they step in? Can we get a good entry here? Come back for us. I mean, I would even think about maybe shorting from here. I would think about shorting from here. You know, if it's going to run away too quick, I'll stay out. Or we also could be creating this bearish order block here. Alright, if we close below this bearish order block. We'll create this bearish order block. I would even think about a short from there. We're not closing below, we're not displacing yet. Okay, looks like we barely closed below there. Barely closed below. I'm going to try out the shorts here. I'm going to go on one con after the test of this order block here. Again, I'm going to keep my stop just above that order block at 85 ticks. So 18,476.75. So I'll just monitor this one closely as well. If this one wants to come right back up too aggressively, I'll just get out, wait for a different entry. Alright, I like that we're rejecting that order block. I like that we're respecting bearish order flow right now, but I don't like the stalling. There we go. Let's see if we can break out here. There it is. Alright, so I want to add into a full, but I'm not going to add in too low. I'm not going to let my entry move down super low, because it's already lower than I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be all the way in that fair value gap. Right, but we never tapped into that, so I'm looking for the entry based off our bearish order flow here. That's already hit 75 ticks from our entry. Alright, but we're not seeing the follow through I wanted to see yet. I do really want to see us go target those equal lows. Too much pullback here. So much pullback, long wick. I need to see us really just drop aggressively from this point. Need to see us drop aggressively. I would like to add into another con, but not when we're not following through like this. Okay, we're testing that order block. There's no follow through. This is not what you want to see here. Not what you want to see. Want to see quick reaction, quick dump from that level. Like that. We retest the order block, we start to reject. Need to see rejection, follow through. Not whatever this is. I'm just going to cut this and look for a re-entry, guys. This is not the follow through I wanted to see. All right, I really like that entry, but when I see this kind of price action, I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to wait. I'm not going to let that one come stop me out for a full stop there. All right, we hit about 75 ticks in profit, and these shorts really looked like wanting to step in, but when we see no follow through like that, that's where I just kind of want to cut my loss early instead of letting it take my full stop. Even if this one ends up dropping still, I still don't like holding this position after seeing that strong move up and us really stalling at this level. So now let's see if we want to go up to that 2-minute fair value gap or the 1-minute fair value gap. Alright, so technically, yeah, if I still kept my stop where it was, I would still be in this trade, but I don't like what I'm seeing here. On this type of trade, when we're reading order flow, like a bearish order block, I want to see a rejection like we saw, but I want to see it fall through right away and just dump to those lows. I don't want to see all this stalling and all this kind of choppiness. So now let's see if we're going to test that 2-minute fair value gap or the 1-minute fair value gap here. Alright, and if we dump from here and I miss out on it, oh well. Oh well, I'm de-risking. Didn't like what price action was showing me. And we're falling right back down. Alright, so, I mean, the stop loss was at a good level. We rejected right before our stop loss would have been. But didn't like what I was seeing, so either way, didn't want to hold that one. This one could dump off and take out those equal lows right now. It could. And that's just what I'm going to have to live with. See how we're just chopping back and forth here? Too much chop back and forth. That's too much chop. After seeing that strong move down, fair value gap created, order block created, I'm just expecting us to continue to drop there. When we start to chop, don't really want to be in that trade anymore. All right, it's not like we got an entry off the chop. We got an entry off of this rejection here, clean looking price action. And then price action stopped looking clean. Started looking pretty ugly. Okay, let's see if we want to trade into that 2-minute or that 1-minute. Those equal lows are still a very good sell side target there. Alright, Kia Trades. Have a good weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Alright, so we're in that 2-minute. We're in that 2-minute SIBI here. I want to see if we're going to test that 1-minute. We tested the 2-minute order block as well. But I want to see us trade it up into that 1-minute. Yes, it's trading above VWAP right now. Yeah, this price action right now is just not very clean, guys. Not very clean. It's not what I want to see right now. Okay, we did tap into that 5-minute imbalance as well. Nice level there. But I need to wait for this, for a better rejection off of here. Need to wait for a better rejection for us to really maybe trade into that 1 minute and get a rejection off the 1 minute, reject off VWAP. Because right now we're not looking like we're trying to reject here. Need to see a strong reaction off this level. Just like that, guys. I'm going to get an entry in one position here again. Alright, this is a little more aggressive because of what we see ES doing. But that's the rejection I wanted to see there. I'm going to keep a stop above VWAP, 100 ticks, 18,503.25. I'm going to add into one more con here. Alright, so I'm in 2 cons here. That's my full position for today. Okay, so my entry moved down a little bit, so I'll move my stop down. My stop is now 18,497.50. This is now where I want to see us really start to fall. Okay, so you could take a first TP. Once we break the lows, you could hold all the way down to those equal lows. I really want to hold this one down. So what I'll do is if we can break these lows here, if we can break through this choppiness, I'll just move my stop to break even, and I'm going to hold all the way down to these lows. We can't even break through the chop right now, so we need to see us really fall through. Right now I'll put a full TP down at those equal lows. It's like 275 ticks from our entry. I'll just take a full TP down there. Again, if you don't like the stalling, you want to take a TP, you can always do that. But look how we rejected the 5 minute. Strong rejection off the 5 minute. Strong rejection off the 1 minute. Strong rejection off the 2 minute. Rejected off of VWAP. And we have those equal lows down there. This is the trade I want to take. I really like this setup here. Now we just have to see if NQ can actually stop chopping and start to follow through on this position. My entry is at 18,472, like 8.8, so like 7.5. And we can't break out of the chop. This is kind of wild here. That was an aggressive move down off of all of the levels we wanted to see us tap into. So now we just need to see some kind of follow through. What I need to see us do is break these lows, and then I'll move my stop to break even and just take a TP once we take out those equal lows. Just don't want to see us chop. Want to see us start to really fall through this choppiness here. Break this accumulation. This level has been holding a little too strong here. Again, though, that's an A+ setup for me. We traded up into every single level I wanted to see us trade into. We have those equal lows down below. I'm just going to keep my stop where it's at, guys. For now, I'm going to keep my stop where it's at. Man, we really couldn't break through that. It's pretty insane. Alright, I'm telling you, I had a ton of confluence in that position. Every single level I wanted to see happen, happened. Everything I wanted to see happened. And right now, this volatility and this choppiness is what's keeping us from really just following through here. I really don't like that candle right there. This is insane. Insanity. Insanity, guys. Alright, that is, yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say about that one. That one's just crazy. That one's crazy. I loved that entry. Love that entry. I take that entry any day. I would take that entry any single day, guys. Any day. So, I mean, you know, what are you going to do? I'm not going to get mad about it. When I see my Confluence is set up like that, I have my A+ set up, I'm going to take it any day. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely seeing a choppy Friday, but what I wanted to see us do was seek and destroy, come down and grab those equal lows, right? We came down, we grabbed sell side, created equal lows, came up and grabbed buy side, and I wanted to see us come right back down for that sell side, grab those equal lows after seeing great rejection off of all of our levels. We just didn't see that. And now we're seeing this crazy pump happening. So, yeah, I mean, not much else I can say about that one, right? I'm not going to be upset about it. I love the setup, so I'm going to take it. We're just seeing this volatility today. Volatility and choppiness is a little bit crazy. So let's just go over why I took that trade one more time. All right, just one more time. Okay, first thing. Strong displacement move down of our previous candle, creating a bearish fair value gap. Strong rejection off of the bearish fair value gap right there. Okay, so those are our first confluences. Going to the 1 minute, we have a 1 minute fair value gap, 1 minute order block. Strong rejection off of both of those levels. We see ES rejecting super hard as well. We go to a 2 minute, strong rejection off the order block off the fair value gap. And then our other confluences would be that we're in seek and destroy, right? Coming down, trying to target those equal lows. We have obvious sell side liquidity at equal lows, generated liquidity. And we saw the reaction we wanted to see. So, you know, that's my confluences. And when I see all that stuff aligning, I like it. Didn't work out on that one. Just didn't work out on that trade right there. All right, so we'll see. I don't think I want to take another trade right now on this with this price action that I'm seeing. With this price action I'm seeing right now, I don't know if I want to keep trading this. Don't know. This is pretty absurd. Now we're pumping right through all those sell side or all those bearish levels. So I'll probably stay out of the market for a little bit. You know, I still have a little bit of room to trade if I want to. So what I'll do is I'll see if the market's going to get a little bit better. See if the market's going to get a little bit better. See if we come up and grab buy side. If we're going to start to drop and come back down for sell side. I might look for one more trade. Possibly one more trade. But yeah, for now that's going to be it. I need to kind of take a step away, clear my head a little bit, come back, look at the charts. And that's what I have to do. If I take a few losses in a row, if the market's not aligning with what I want to see, you just got to take a step back. Take a step back, clear the mind, come right back to the charts. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you. You know, we didn't get the wins like we wanted to end the week, at least not yet. And, you know, it's okay. I think overall we still kept great risk management this week personally. I hope you have too. All right. So I'll talk to you all soon. Keep those notifications on just in case, you know, I do call out another trade today. I'll still be looking at the charts. Still see if there's anything else for us. All right. There you go, Crixus. God bless everybody. I'll talk to you all very soon. If you don't hear from me, I hope you have an amazing weekend. And we'll be back at it on Monday. All right, everybody. Take it easy. Happy birthday again, Jordan. Peace out, family.